Welcome friends to What's Next. I have busy time with Startup Island, launching and acquiring a lot of projects. So this episode is going to be started with the first topic from Marcin. Mike is yours.
Yes, thanks, Jack. Good to see you again. And it's been a crazy, crazy weeks as well for me. So let me talk about it a little bit through my topics because they will cover a little bit of what I was doing. My first topic is about productivity with AI and is it the biggest lie in tech at the moment? I think everyone is trying to measure productivity. Every AI vendor tell us that developers are 10x, 5x, whatever x multiplied by their efficiency, and yeah, I think that it's blew my mind when I started to do things this way, right? And of course, we can do more. We were talking about it in the previous talks that we can do more. But the question is what we are doing, probably, which is the most important. And I saw recently one of the chats between the guys from Anthropic and Spotify about, of course, their efficiency, the amount of deliverables that the Spotify is delivering. We were also mentioning it last time that 75% of bug fixes and small tweaks on Spotify's land are now agentic driven and no humans involved. So it would be some kind of thought or interesting idea that, oh yeah, everyone is doing the same. But the reality turns out to be a little bit different because on the other hand, and I can probably link it later in the episode's description, I found studies which were showing that it's not like that. There are three studies gathered by one of the blog authors, which I was referring to, which shown that the productivity extremely dropped when it comes to the AI adoption in many teams. And of course, right now, developers spends less time on writing code, or zero time writing code if they are experienced writers. But then, if AI is making coding, 50%, 100%, or even 200% faster, the other things are becoming less boosted. They are becoming the bottlenecks, which we were talking about as well. So planning, meetings, architecture, reviews, deployments, all of that. Of course, it can be orchestrated, it can be automated, but it takes time. And I found myself included, is why also I'm talking about it. Often switching context between the projects or ideas, and something is often blocked by some decisions or some angles to be taken further with development. And my take was also that code is just a code, and it wasn't ever, at least from my point of view, it wasn't ever the biggest slow stopper and showstopper for delivery. But there are still the same kind of blockers that are stopping a lot of the ideas and a lot of the projects from being efficient enough. Uh, Funnily enough, today or yesterday, I can't even remember now. The things are going so fast. Uncle Bob, our good old Uncle Bob, wrote a tweet about him not reading code anymore. I was making jokes with my friends that, oh, maybe he's too old to see the code letters and the fonts. But no, he of course said that he's not reading the code because he wants to be up to speed with the generative code and generative AI in general. And that's of course huge. Everyone was talking about it. There was a huge rush in the internet about it, and yeah, it all comes back to what the code is. I think this is the point of view which I wanted to mention here, because for me, and again I will repeat myself, code is just a small piece of the solution, and now never ever it was such an easy to get the code, but still the other problems are influencing the productivity, and yeah, we are 10x on writing code, or even 100x if we are not doing it by hand. But it doesn't mean that the whole process got improved by the same amount of access. And this is coming back to the original thesis here. Spotify, they might be boosted, they might get more delivered. They obviously are better right now than they were previously, because they are moving their focus elsewhere. But this just proves the fact that the bigger organization with a good processes are gaining the most out of the agentic support. And again, big doesn't mean that it's good. So there are, of course, big organizations which are completely destroying their processes right now with AI adoption done wrong. But at the same time, it might be a lesson for us, or for maybe some smaller companies and smaller teams, that you can't automate, you can't rely on AI doing things for you if you don't know what those things are. So you need to know the process, you need to streamline the process, and then get the boost, get the support from AI, because then you will become more productive. And that's my take, that's my topic number one. Do you have anything to add to that, Jack? Do you feel the same or similar at least?
Yeah, and definitely. So I guess I will jump already to my topic. So it will be good
Okay.
comment to what you just said, and
Let's go.
it will give my take on this. I will look at AI a little bit from the perspective, since it's become really useful tool, not a toy. So in 2024, it was all about prompting. Even in early 2023, everybody was looking for the perfect prompt, which will give you the beautiful outcome and give you some idea for a business or whatever. And then 2025 was heavily on vibe coding. So as you mentioned, we are 10x or 100x in the code generation. However, code generation is not business. It's just writing letters in files. Business is when somebody pays you for what is written there and nobody cares what's inside. So now in 2026 is the time when AI can actually run businesses. So there is this auto company idea that AI can even create company from scratch and start earning on products. So with that idea, you can multiply it by 10,000, and even if 1% only will stick, still you do nothing. You only pay for the tokens, which is nothing. And this is the stage. I think that we are really ahead if you are using that. If you are still thinking that vibe coding is the goal to earn money, you're actually behind. And if you think that ChatGPT is the all AI which exists in the world, you're already gone. So you have to catch up real fast. So let me give you a quick example of what I'm doing with my setup. Okay, so let me show you one of the processes I'm doing on the daily basis. Actually, not me, but my CEO, whose name is Johnny. And Johnny has a lot of skills. One of the skills is Alex, who is super oriented into the SaaS platforms and how to earn money on SaaS platforms. So I'm just injected a prompt telling Alex to open a real browser, then go to little exits and find deals which make sense from the cash flow perspective, because I'm looking for SaaSes which can earn money, so I can easily scale them and monetize. It would take a few minutes to actually do it. So I jump to the output I have of the same thing I did. So here we have the list, and we have the brutal truth that most of the marketplace is just junk, crypto toys, or just vibe code toys, which nobody wants because you cannot earn money. And here's the top 3. Actually, on my channel, I was going through the little exits, and this one I spotted myself. So we are thinking with John similar, and our other AI co-founder, Alex, is only approving what we thought. So of course, final decision is made by human, but still based on prepared information with the automated way. So as we see, there's almost 20,000 K with 500 MRR, but the other parameters show that with the growth, actually it can be a good buy. And here we have pros why we should buy this particular startup, because we have recurring revenue. It's not like one client with the luck. So recurring revenue and good growth pattern is always the good indicator. And also we have some diligence which show what is weak. That's why Alex is proposing a little less to offer to the current owner. And I could actually ask Alex to do the communication for me. So he would start doing the communication, and at the time when there is something important to hop on, it will be done automatically. Then I will hop on to make the final decision and pay money for that and run it. And the next steps would be not even me verifying the code, but other skills orchestrated automatically by AI would do it. So it would double check the code if everything looks good, and also prepare marketing materials and marketing plan. So that's why it's possible now to run hundreds or maybe even thousands of companies concurrently, especially with this auto company idea in mind. So this is my mindset. I'm acquiring a lot of startups now and companies trying to hit the right one. So I jump in the early stage and then try to grow it. So yes, back to your topic. Your efficiency using AI depends on you, not on the AI, because the AI nowadays can do everything what can be done on computer for you. But if you are only prompting about where you should go for the holidays or how to vibe code your own idea, which is only in your head, it's not good enough actually to earn money. So a lot of coders probably will stuck in this place and never go forward, and they will only have hobby projects and say, oh, it's not possible to earn money nowadays. But actually, it's quite opposite. So that would be my take and also comment to your part. So what's your second topic for today?
Yeah, that's good. And again, I can't agree more, but I just want to say that it's completely fine if that will be like that, because not everyone should have the entrepreneurial mindset. Not everyone should be a business owner, and the real challenge would be how and where all of those skills will go if those skills won't be needed anymore, right? So that's probably why you are also leaning slowly for those developers to look at. And I'm trying also to inspire my colleagues and my friends on thinking beyond coding, which is not always easy, because if you are doing something for 20 years, it's not always easy to switch the mindset. And yeah, I see it, and I don't know if and how it will be ever sorted. My next topic is about money as well. So that's a good topic, and I've included here SaaS as well, because I knew that it is your area, Jack, and you would likely add something to that. But I think we can go beyond that. It's not only about specific services. It's not only about SaaSes. It's general about pricing of everything right now. And what I wanted to touch upon and talk about is about the payment models, the pricing models generally, about everything right now. And what triggered my ideation about this topic was the Fable switch off and switch on, which happened at the same time. Because for those maybe who don't know, Anthropic decided to again release Fable back after this disabled period, after issues being flagged by security scans and so on and so on. And then Fable got back, but it had a fixed date, the cutout date, which was the 19th of July this year. And yeah, everyone was token maxing and Fable maxing until the end, when Anthropic announced that, oh, don't worry, Fable will stay, but it will be a credits based capability. And everyone who was or is using the paid tiers of Claude will get free tokens, free credits, $100 of credits to use Fable model. And yeah, in reality, probably not so many things has changed for most of the users. But of course, everyone who is looking at this moves can see various other factors that are probably the decision drivers towards this decision. So yeah, the other models, of course, are running behind. There is a lot of information flying around that already. Chinese models, GLM, and plenty others are already good enough, same as almost Fable. There is also the ChatGPT's Soul model, which often also gets the reviews from people that yeah, it's same or almost like Fable in most of the in many cases, and for their needs there's no need to pay for something additionally. There are also other models which are right now also getting some traction, and Fable is not not unique anymore. It's not only one on the block. Same with the Opus. I don't know. Probably again we are here for a couple of minutes. Maybe it was already happening that there was supposed to be Opus 5.0 released yesterday. Now it's today. Somewhere in time it will be released, and then everyone and a lot of the people who I at least follow in the internet are thinking that the Opus 5 will be almost at the same moment as it was Opus 4.8, which again will change a little bit of movement and will force other providers of models, other providers of AI tools to align and adjust and do something. And this is all coming forward towards the tools and platforms that we are building, because if we won't be able to predict how we are tracking the costs of the AI. You've mentioned that when you were talking about specific products, that still this cost is almost marginal in many cases, because those tokens are not that expensive in a lot of the cases. But what if they will, or what if we'll from one moment won't be built 1x but 10x for the same cost of token? So what should we do? Something what we were discussing already back in the days. I'm also using OpenRouter a lot in my solutions and my tools, where I'm trying to do some fallbacks, checks, and conditions access to the models based on the information that I'm looking for. And this will be a challenge itself if we won't be able to put some kind of observability on top of the tokens consumption for the products and projects that we are building. And I'm not even talking yet about the cost of the teams or the production of the solutions. So if you have a big organization, big team, big agency, or whatever else you are doing there, how you will be able to predict costs of the solutions that you are building, how you will be able to recharge or invoice forward the cost that you will be consuming. So right now, of course, it might be easy because you are paying per seat or you are paying per license or whatever, but it will be changing, and I think it will be quite interesting to see in the upcoming months, because all of those big kids are fighting at the moment on how they will be charging us for the tokens. It will be interesting to see how it will shift, and I think that it will somehow, I don't know how yet, somehow influence the pricing of everything, basically what we will be paying for. And again, right now we are still living in the world where humans are making some decisions, but I see more and more of agentic first, MCP first approaches to actions like purchases, or you even mentioned this about the company creations and stuff like that. So as soon as we will be in the place where everything will be less human dependent, I think predictability will be the case. And I don't know if models will be able to predict their costs for themselves. So that's my take. I'm throwing it right now because when we'll be revisiting it in a couple of weeks or months, I'm curious if the world will change in this area. So that's me. I'm ready
Yes, I
to
have
get
comment
over to you.
to that.
Yeah.
To that. So it's a topic which we discussed a few times, and it's good
Yep.
to repeat this topic because it's being updated on a daily basis. Sometimes even multiple times a day, you see some updates regarding that. So the one way to get away with that, which we already discussed, was to buy our own hardware and host our models. However, I'm really postponing this move because of how good are only few models which are out there. So you already mentioned the biggest one from the best one from Anthropic. I'm also exploring Grok 4.5, which is amazing, and now it's like 1/10 of the cost of Fable, and still it might change over the time. So I'm still using the APIs and the tokens online, and we're exploring what are the other options. For now, I don't see too many good options because all the open models which you can run locally, they are like toys from 2025. Of course, they're not toys, they can generate the code, but I would not let them run my operations, delivery, or business at all. There are few models which are capable of doing that, so they understand how not only code works, but how the business work and what you can do around computer, internet, within communication with other platforms, people, and so on. So they can actually understand concept of being an entrepreneur, like the whole concept, not only the delivery part with the software. And you cannot achieve that with offline models yet. That's why I'm a little bit postponing that, but this is the thing I will definitely check once I believe that there is an option to replace the best models which are online. So with that being said, I can jump to my second topic. So Geo is the new CEO. So this is as easy as it is, because search engine optimization was the thing for the last 2 decades at least. And people were earning a lot of money if they were able to position some other businesses well. So the SEO agencies were growing, SEO tools were growing. Still, this is a huge business. And more people are understanding that the traffic are coming not only from the browser and from the Google search, but it comes also from the chat GPT. So they understand the problem that they have to somehow better present themselves, not to human, not to tags which are for the Google indexing, but for the AI indexing. So let me share my screen once. Let's see apple.com. And here is the GeoChecker plugin. It gives 69 out of 100 because they are missing the llms.txt, which is super important.
Basics.
They are missing the base. I guess they just don't care because their marketing is so good that they just don't care. But as you see, this company is a little bit behind, but it's difficult to be behind if you are Apple. So I'm more showing that this as a fun joke. Let's go to NVIDIA. They're probably doing it much better. Yes, so they are doing that much better. So, but they could still work more on sitemap, as we see. It's not fully prepared for the AI indexing, and they can continue with adding more information to the full TXT. So, but apart of that, everything's good. And this plugin has super easy to use a tool, which is just a prompt to ChatGPT, which can tell you something about your business. So one of the businesses I acquired recently is this simulator of different browsers. So I can show you the plugin, so it can show your web page in multiple devices at once. But we are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the Geo Checker. So it gives me 96, which is fine. But let's see what actually ChatGPT knows about my website and my business. So I'm just copy pasting the prompt I got from the plugin.
But then I have a feature request already, Jack, to this plugin.
Okay.
You can redirect directly to ChatGPT. That's what I did in some of my websites recently. Funnily enough, because I was interested in people looking for information about the specific businesses or ideas, and then there was a button which I've created that ask ChatGPT about it, and it was already going to ChatGPT with the prompt. So that's a small addition to this extension, which might save some clicks.
Okay, so I hope my screen is there. So as you see, here's the prompt. We are asking ChatGPT to do the brand auditing and what it knows about us. So we have the information that this is the mobile simulator, Chrome extension, information about the Chrome Web Store, so we are verified there, about the audience, front-end developers, designers, quality assurance experts, freelancers, and so on, so on. So as you see, it's quite detailed report. So I would highly recommend using this prompt and this plugin if you are interested how to present your company better online, but online in context of the AI indexing. So all the information, it also can regenerate a little bit the llms.txt, so it will be even more optimized for you. And yeah, so the plugin is one thing, but then you have to implement the output of the plugin research. You can use it with the ChatGPT, and then later on in your development process. Let me show you one thing lastly, thing which should be super important to us, and it's not that easy to achieve. So it's the thing how to actually appear in the ChatGPT results. So this is regular Google Analytics. When you go to the traffic acquisition, you usually see it like this, is a default screen, and you have AI assistant. So I would recommend to change this view to session and source/medium. So then in a plain text, you will see that it comes from ChatGPT or other LLMs. And my goal is to move more traffic from this because the other traffic will come anyways, or maybe it will be lower because the competitors who are better indexed in ChatGPT will take it over. So you have to be, if not first, you have to be early to that and adapt your website to be visible over there. So that was my second topic. And now back to you. What is your third and last topic for today's session?
Yeah, I will just add to that because I think that I observed it quite commonly, and even I don't know if I mentioned here the HubSpot drop of traffic because the ChatGPT took over of a lot of blogging and content suggestions for a lot of the people. And I think one thing is amazing prompt that you've showed about the audit of the brand. Second is that this audit wouldn't be possible if the chat didn't know about these details from your information that you shared with it, right? So if it wasn't crawled, told, and stuff like that. So I think it is an area in which brands and companies and businesses will need to do more because if not, if they want, as you said, they will lose traffic, they will lose exposure, and this is again the channel to be right now experienced and explored more. And that ideally relates to my last topic, to be honest, because maybe not ideally from the business perspective, but from the developer's perspective. And again, I've been investigating recently a lot of the DevRel areas. I've created a community called the Inner Loop for the DevRel people and developer experience related people. So if anyone here is in this area, let me know. But at the same time, I was trying to understand if DevRel is still a thing, because I probably you can relate to that, Jack, as well. Because whenever we were talking about DevRels, but we were doing business, writing code, doing a lot of other stuff at the same time, we were at DevRels by accident or still wearing this hat from time to time because we were describing things for developers, or we were talking with the developers as common species that we want to relate to. And that's official role for many products, companies, and so on. And currently in New York, there is a conference called the DevRel Con, if I'm correct, which gathers many developer relations specialists in one place. And one slide that I saw yesterday on Twitter was about goodbye DevRels and long live DevRels things, because at the same time, and I agree with this take, because the times are interesting, we know that, and there are new roles which we're also discussing recently about the forward deployed engineers and things like that. But still, if we are asking agents to do stuff, they are looking for the information to be based these discussions and decisions on, and then they are utilizing those information to write stuff for us. Maybe some of the developer relations people and some of the companies, some of the products lost the interactivity between their DevRels, who are sometimes only creating content, sometimes recording videos, sometimes writing blog posts, sometimes creating SDKs or examples on the GitHub. And now, if you are bypassing this completely to achieve your goals, and you are getting the tool which model recommended to you, for example, for the SMTP configuration and stuff like that, you are no longer needing this DevRel to tell you how to do stuff. Agents need to know how to do this stuff for you, obviously, but this is not coming from someone recording YouTube video for you or talking to you on the conference, for example. So some takes, and some people would say, okay, we no longer need developer relations people right now, focus on maybe geo and positioning our tool inside of the agents. But at the same time, I feel like the times are where developer relations and relations, this keyword is amazing, is probably something what agents and AI won't give you. You won't have the direct, I don't know, feeling attached to a specific tool or platform that you're using. Something what I can relate to, again, I was heavily involved in Umbraco community, I still am. And even though we are always saying on the Umbraco conferences that Umbraco is not a cult, I do believe that this is a cult, but because people are essence of this community. And even though I'm not using this maybe that much as I was using previously, maybe there are some other tools, different tools, and I'm not talking about even CMSs only at the time, but those relations and these human interactions, those support people, and again, being able to be a part of the community is probably something what won't be easily replaced, and it's still something what is heavily needed. But obviously, the take is that people are not asking Google or Stack Overflow on how to solve the problem for them anymore. They ask, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, or whatever else they are using, or Grok, or tools like that. But still, who is writing documentation for them? Maybe agents for most of the time too, but if not, someone needs to steer it, someone needs to own it, someone needs to make decisions what is to be documented. And yeah, I think in the old world it was like, developer was looking on the documentation, going for the conference, being inspired by something, then looking at the SDK or something and including it in the project. Now it's like, okay, I need something, Claude or Codex or whatever else, give me that or build me that, and product has it. And then you need to just click a couple of the things and configure it if you need it. So I think that the take on that one, to close it with some positive thinking, is like developer relations, I think, becoming a kind of a knowledge engineering, and agents can hold this knowledge. There is marketing on top of that attached as well, because even the best tool won't position itself and won't be picked by many if it wouldn't be included in the marketing scenarios. But yeah, we need to change the mindset, and DevRel is also switching to something else. And yeah, it is something what I will be probably investigating later. But I think even by looking on our discussions, the code becomes less and less relevant in all of that. So it's more about really how we will live with agents being able to consume the information, and then where the humans will be still in place to stop, pause, or speed it up if that will be needed. So I'm interested if you have the same take, and if you have ever worked with DevRels in some tools or platforms that you're using.
So yeah, my take on that would be, actually, you're absolutely right. So we met because of the Umbraco community, and the communities back in the day were huge things, because people were sitting together and thinking how to make things better using some technology tools, libraries, or whatever it was about within this circle. And now all those talks we do with our AI agents. So I didn't want to promote it here, but it's actually very good comment to that, because I created a very close small group called Startup Island Friends. So it's in hidden place on the website. When people who are invited can join the group, and the objective of this group is a little bit like back in the days, speaking about very specific things, but this time about projects and earning on those projects, acquiring projects, and maybe do some acquires together. So close group within friends where we and that would be knowledge which comes from your experience doing something in real life. So still there are some parts of life which agents they don't know, or because of the human experience they cannot actually relate to this. And the new thing would be to speak about things which you cannot discuss with LLMs. So this group is especially for this. So yeah, I'm not advising to jump and register there because I said it's very close one. But I wanted to share that there will be a lot of such groups for friends who wants to do something together, not code this time, but actually make some business probably, because we are in the new economy. You don't have to be big corporate to do great stuff. That's why when few really interesting people with interesting ideas can join together, they can have the same power as the big company. So I guess it's like the first time in the history of mankind when this is possible. So that would be my closing sentence for our conversation. What do you want to add about that?
I'll add one thing because also I can't remember, but it was probably Tomek Karwatka from our startup scene, who's heavily involved in many startups and many businesses as well. You mentioned something like being a founder is kind of a lonely journey, quite often as well. And we can all relate to that, and that's also why we want to be a part of the communities. That's why we want to be in the middle of people having similar, maybe not the same, but similar problems, similar challenges, and yeah, often changing the rooms of the communities if you do not belong, and that's completely fine. And that's also why I agree with what you've said as well, that creating those groups. I created the same one for those DevRels because I felt lonely exploring this area, and it turns out that many other people are feeling the same. So the same with the startups, the same with the SaaS businesses, the same with everything basically. I also have this group, mastermind group with a couple of my friends, which we are using monthly to discuss our problems and ideas and challenges without judging ourselves. I think this is important, and that's also why I feel like that's my closing take. Interfaces are changing, and interfaces of dealing with tools, businesses, other people, other human. But still, the implementation of this interface behind the scenes, or someone who will point you to those interfaces, will be human, and that's, I think, as soon as you will be exposed more to those connections, you will be inspired by other people as usually you would be, and exchange the ideas. That's the best what you can do with the knowledge that you have, and if you don't have knowledge from where you will get that, models, agents, other people as well. So mix it up, diversify, and do not trust agents all the time. That would be my closing line. And I think this is the What's Next episode 6, Jack. Do we want to add
I
anything
think
else to
so.
that?
Nothing to add here. Have a good day.
Yeah. Have a good day, everyone. Let's go back to business. Take care and see you next time.